ありがとう。
After the accident, so we left Futaba Junior High School, and we drove to Kawamata, and we stayed in Kawamata for maybe 2 nights, and then we had a friend from Australia, and she had evacuated from Akuma to Koriyama, and she was very upset. She was panicking, so she decided she wanted to go back to Australia, but she was stuck in Koriyama. So me and Anthony, we drove from Kawamata to Koriyama, picked up our friend, took her to Narita Airport in Chiba, said goodbye, and then we realized we had no petrol, so we could not go back to Fukushima. We had no gasoline, and so we stayed 2 or 3 nights with a friend in Chiba, and then when Futaba town moved to the Super Arena, I went to the Super Arena and met them on the day they arrived. And we stayed in the Super Arena for about a week and a bit. And then we went to Kisai in Kazo City, Saitama. And we stayed there for a few years, and then moved back to Iwaki. In the Super Arena, it was, at the beginning, very busy. It was setting up places for people to sleep, and difficult trying to work out how to get people food, and then what to do with the children, because they were, sometimes the parents and the children needed a little time apart. So we set up a kids area, so during the day they could have a couple of hours. The kids would get together with some teachers. It was hard getting washed. There was nowhere to have a shower. So eventually the local hotels would let us use a hotel room, and then you had to sign up. So you'd say, okay, tomorrow at 11 o'clock is your turn for the shower. For me personally, was hard because everyone thought I was a foreign journalist, so they kept telling me to go away, which was difficult. Kisai was the privacy was difficult. There were so many people at the beginning, and everyone was crammed into small rooms, many people. So everyone tried to build their own little area out of cardboard boxes, just so you had your own personal space. And the hardest thing was getting to the, if you were old or sick, you were on the ground floor, so that was no problem. But some people were on the 4th and 5th floor, so there were many stairs. So when you were bringing food and drink, you were always running up and down the stairs. And It was quite loud, so difficult to sleep at night. And at the beginning, the car park was just the sports ground, so when it rained, it just became a big pile of mud, and the car would get stuck, and if you walked to the car park, your clothes would be covered in mud. We had help from lots of people. In the super arena, there were many volunteers, and they were bringing food, and then they would hand out the food. It was all very organized, so at breakfast time and at lunchtime and at dinner time, you could go up and line up, and people were there giving you things. And yeah, the hotel arranged for the shower, and there were always volunteers everywhere. There were volunteers giving people haircuts. There were one of our friends who works for, I think it was either JAL or ANA, the airline, because they were trained in first aid, they came and volunteered to help with the medical. Some people were volunteering, giving haircuts. Again, for me personally, a very tall American man came and donated some clothes because I had nothing to wear. And a lot of the clothes that were donated were for Japanese people, and they were a little too small for me. So this big American guy gave me lots of clothes, so that was useful. Oh, it was a great relief, because we'd evacuated in just what I was wearing. I did not bring anything from Futaba. And then I had very little money with me at the time, so I could not go out and buy clothes. And so for him to come and bring me all this stuff, it's what I needed at the right time. So it might not have looked important, but it was a big relief for me. And yeah, lots of people. And even for me, there wasn't anyone who really spoke English at the super arena. And so anytime there was a volunteer who could speak English, or we had American volunteers and Australians who lived in Tokyo area, it was nice to talk to someone in native English. The people of Futaba, I enjoyed my time in Futaba before the earthquake, and we made many friends, and I enjoyed working at the school. I enjoyed looking after the children of Futaba in Futaba. And so when the earthquake happened, it was, I don't know, a sense of responsibility that I had to keep looking after the children. So that's why I stayed at first. And then even the people of Futaba who were very busy, they'd lost everything. The people at the town hall were very stressed, but they still took the time to make sure I was okay. So I wanted to stay with them and help them, support them. I had some friends in Futaba who on the day of the earthquake asked me, they said that they were staying in Iwaki because their job was around Iwaki, but their children were going to Kawamata and Super Arena. So they asked me to keep an eye on them. It's an English phrase, keep an eye on. So I said, of course I'll do that. And so when people were saying you should leave the country, I never felt I could, because I promised that I would look after those children, so I couldn't leave. Impossible to go. Ooh, many people. At first in Futaba on the day of the earthquake, thank you to the people who provided us with some food. And then when we went to Kawamata, all the people who were lining the road, giving directions, because I'd never been to Kawamata. I didn't know where we were going. So we just looked at it on a map and just went to Kawamata, and when we got there, there were so many people saying, go here, go here. To the people in Kawamata at the actual school we stayed, they were organising, they were cooking food. People at the super arena, all the volunteers, every day there were thousands of volunteers. It got so many that they were having to turn people away, there were so many. So to all of those people who came, thank you for your time. And the people in Kazo Board of Education, we made many new friends there who helped us. They helped set up the school. When we first arrived, the children went to Kazo schools, but a lot of the teachers and me as an ALT, we couldn't go. And then people at Kazo worked very hard so we could go join them in the school. To all the people who came to Kisai High School, every week there was an event. When people were getting stressed, somebody would come and have an event and everyone would forget about it for a few hours. So to all the people who volunteered, thank you very much.
ありがとう。